Back with another race in Knox County that will be decided on August 7th. Knox County Schools will see a change in District 6. Thomas Deakins has served in that seat since 2006. Two people who would like to replace him, Terry Hill and Sandra Rowcliffe, join us once again. Thank you both for being here.
Good morning.
Good to see you. Absolutely. Let me run down the schools so that our audience understands what District 6 is made up of. Amherst Elementary School, Ball Camp Elementary, Byington Solway Technology Center, Hardin Valley Academy Elementary, basically. Carnes Elementary, Carnes High, Carnes Middle, Northwest Middle, Norwood Elementary, and Pleasant Ridge Elementary. We've had you both on in the past, but you each won in the primary election, so you're in this runoff. Let's talk once again about why you think you're the best candidate for this job. Sandra, we'll start with you.
Okay. Well, I guess the main thing that I believe sets me apart in this election is I am, out of the two of us, the candidate with children in the Knox County Public Schools right now. I have 4 children total. 1 graduated recently, and then I have 3 that are still in school working their way toward that graduation mark. I also currently serve as the Knox County PTA president, so I have a pretty big, I guess, view of the parent perspective and that sort of thing. I'm also, you know, I'm really passionate about education and making sure that our parents are involved in those decisions and holding our school system accountable.
Terry?
I bring 30 years of experience in Knox County schools to this race. As a school social worker, I've worked in the classroom with teachers side by side. I've counseled students. I've been in the homes of these parents, worked countless hours with administrators, and spent time in central office also. So the schools are what I know. I understand what the issues are. I understand the concerns. I don't currently have children in Knox County schools. I have grandchildren in Knox County schools, so I'm very proud of that and certainly want the best for all our kids in Knox County.
Let's talk about the biggest issue that you think faces the school district right now. Terry, we'll start with you and then to Sandra.
Okay. My big concern right now with the schools is the school environment, the climate of the school system. It is not good right now. We have a lot of unhappy teachers. We have a lot of unhappy parents. And it doesn't have to be that way. That's really the sadness of it all. I believe that collectively our school board has not been responsive to the needs of the parents and the needs of the students. In spite of that, we're still achieving well, but it can be so much better. And I plan to change that environment.
Sandra?
So for me, I think that is one of the big issues. However, the biggest issue for me right now is funding. Knox County is kind of a donor community. We pay over $40 million in taxes to the state, and as of just a month or so ago, it's been reformulated in the BEP, and we only get $300,000 back. We wouldn't have a funding problem if the state helped us out a little bit more. So I think our schools are underfunded, our teachers are underpaid, and salaries are oftentimes a sign of a community's appreciation of their employees.
So what would I'd like to ask each of you what you would actually do about that. So if you're elected, I mean, you're concerned about the morale and all of that, and you're concerned about the funding. So what would you do about that in your first 6 months, let's say, of being on the board?
Go ahead. You can start first. Sure.
Okay. Sorry. Well, you know, several years ago when Governor Bredesen was in office, there was a reformulation of BEP. Knox County wasn't getting very much money back from the state, and that was reformulated. Now all of a sudden it's been reformulated again. So I think within that first 6 months, I would do a lot of trips to Nashville, because I think it's time for some of the school board members to really get into Nashville and let
So
let
do you
our
sense
governor
that
and
there other school board members are there where you are on that issue? I mean, do you think they all are ready to take a trip to Nashville?
well, I don't want to speak for all of anybody, but I know many of the school board, current school board members. I work well with most of Knox County Schools administration as well as the school board representatives that have been currently elected. So I think I could certainly make my case.
Terry?
I think it's very important that we deal with our state legislators on that. It really comes to our House and our Senate to get in there and make changes that need to occur. This is a state's issue, and as much as I would like to think one school board could change that, we really can't. We certainly need to collectively be heard, but in the end, that really falls to our state government to get hold of and to change.
We'll talk after the break, revisit Susan's question about what you would do to change the climate in schools, but we've got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Inside Tennessee right after this. Back with two women who would like to be on the Knox County School Board. Susan?
Well, the question back to Terry, you had mentioned that you thought the biggest concern right now on the board was just the morale of the teachers, and so my question is, what can you do as a school board member in your first 6 months to try and address that?
Listen, but more than that, take some action. It has taken a long time for the concerns that have been presented to finally be heard by the school board, but at this point in time there still is not really any change being made. What's real interesting about all this, you all may or may not know, as far as the high stakes testing and the tying results to teacher evaluation and also to student promotion and retention, the very thing that our school system, our teachers have been saying for the last 2.5 years. The Bill and Melissa Gates Foundation, who is the brainchild of all this, has actually come out and recommended a 2-year pushback on this high-stakes testing. So even they have come to see that we've got some real issues. Nothing that can't be fixed, but things that need to be ironed out and addressed and changed so that it works better for our kids and our students.
How do you do that on a local level, though? Because some of this has to be done at the state level. So what role do you play on the local?
The role we play on the local level is letting our teachers teach. All we need to do is tell them what the goals need to be at the end of the year, which is, at this point, our Common Core standard. We need to equip them with the tools and training that they need to do that, and then we need to get out of their way and let them do it. These pacing guides, this is not something that has to be a local issue. I mean, our teachers know how to do these things, but they have lost the creativity, they have lost the flexibility within the classroom that they need to be able to teach kids the way they need to be taught. The same needs are not the same in every classroom. No two kids are alike, and this is what our teachers have not been able to address.
Do they feel, go ahead.
Well, we're 47th or 48th in Tennessee on spending. It's abysmal, the amount of money that we don't spend on education.
I agree.
How in the world are you going to change that on the Knox? What do you got, 55,000 kids in school this year? But probably maybe more?
More.
What's the budget?
470 million, roughly.
I mean, but the climate statewide is not, the emphasis is not on education. How are you guys in Knox County on the school board going to change that?
Well, I've just said how. Leave our teachers alone and let them teach. They'll get those kids where they need to be at the end of the year. We need to trust them to do it. That doesn't cost a dime.
Ms. Rowcliffe?
Well, although I agree that we do have great educators here in Knox County, the facts are, Mr. Francis, you're not only correct in our spending, but just a few short years ago, we were actually 48th in the nation in educational achievement amongst our students as well. We're moving up, but we've got a long way to go. So although I do think our teachers are great overall in Knox County, you know, we've got to do some different things with our kids now. Our kids don't learn the same way that we learned. There's just some different, whether it's technology, whether it's collaborative learning, whether it's project-based learning, all of that has got to be in our curriculum.
Sandra Rowcliffe, we appreciate your time. Terry Hill,
John.
Thank you for yours as well.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Running for District 6, that is it for Inside Tennessee. We appreciate you watching and hope to see you back here next week.